Our utopian school is Mall City Charter School. It's located in Mall City, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. From the outset, we felt that Mall City Charter Schools needed to put down its roots in the community which it serves. Too often, people and their wider societies are alienated from one another. If local people take direct ownership of their children's education institution, they can then show themselves and their children the real value a school can add to a community. Local working people have the best idea of knowing what's necessary to build and expand their community. So people closest to the means of production should take the responsibility for its education.
Our mission statement is to build a framework by which members of the local community may explore and discover the means by which they may best utilize their abilities in gainful employment. To facilitate this discovery by providing a complete spectrum of local mentorship opportunities, to nurture a sense of inherent dignity and self-worth on all socioeconomic levels through modeling a courageous and compassionate worldview and life, to thoroughly prepare local people to enter the workforce, support themselves through meaningful contribution to their community.
When Bon Marché and later Cortana Mall closed in the mid-city area, it quickly became clear that employment opportunities were not going to create themselves. If the present public educational system were left to its own devices, the spread of urban blight and the gentrification to follow heralded a widening wage gap and a clear physical distinction between areas peopled by the rich and the working poor. As the power to build and grow physically, financially, and intellectually slips from the hands of the working class, Mall City Charter aims to give it back. The community of those caught up in the historical withering of economic opportunity founded Mall City Charter to learn from the past and give their children the tools they need to overcome the pitfalls laid out for them and build a brighter future for everyone involved.
The curriculum is determined by place. The Mall City Charter School Board, in conjunction with the Mall City Parent-Teacher Council and local district officials, look at the opportunities and challenges the community faces, both in the short term and the long term. From there, they determine the kinds of university majors and skill-based vocations the community requires in order to get to the next phase of its development. The school looks at the available pool of local educators and selects those with the proven field experience and job familiarity that they want to pass on to the students. Every teacher then pulls double duty. They must be able to effectively teach their assigned course subject while demonstrating their subject's direct relation to a real-world application in which they have experience. Mall City Charter's program begins with pre-K, earning a high school diploma midway, and goes all the way to an associate's degree and a vocational certification, or a bachelor's degree upon matriculation from the school. The aim is to accelerate the journey to employment opportunities while providing a comprehensive education rooted in practical community skills and knowledge. Throughout, students are provided with opportunities to engage with the visual and performing arts, as well as adjacent creative projects that already exist throughout the community. The underlying rationale is one that emphasizes investment in individual students, which in turn becomes an investment in the wider community. Many students in at-risk areas are often concerned with survival and cannot turn their heads to look up at something better. Therefore, Mall City Charter must give its students the tools they need for survival before it can give them anything else. Investment in the community is so important because the school itself provides a foundation for future economic development. Rather than relying entirely upon the whims of the market, investment in the community provides the kind of stability necessary to voluntarily stay in an area characterized by urban blight and vanishing opportunity. People who can work for a living without going through undue hardship are far more likely to wind up in prison, which is a drain on communities nationwide. Furthermore, the ability to gain and retain problem-solving skills grants a net positive to mental health. The basics must be mastered individually. Each individual member of a group needs to be able to do things like read, write, and solve math problems on their own. Beyond that, however, almost no work environment places responsibility solely on an individual. The working world works in groups. Any classroom in the high school level and beyond models a professional working environment, with teachers providing guidance from a varying degree of distance, depending on the subject. The responsibility, and therefore the real-world importance of the work done in these classes is emphasized by the instructors who already have this real-world experience. Student assessment takes the form of feedback from instructors, peers, and counselors, reflecting their performance on the job the way they would receive it once they are employed. Students and faculty come together to shape the plan for their growth. Democracy is modeled through the interaction not only between teachers and students, but between peers as well. The school's model clearly shows that everyone involved, from bricklayers to CEOs, has a vital stake in the success of the community. Mall City Charter shows that the health of a community requires a holistic view. When everyone has a sense of their importance in the area, they can develop and understand the social conscience required to truly implement a democratic model of government. When different fields come together and are shown to interact, then the specter of elitism that divides communities may be banished. The floor plan of the school itself is radial, reflecting the initial trunk of a tree, then radiating out into different branches. The main administration building is the outermost layer. Behind it is the core layer of pre-K through 5th grade, behind which lies a hemispherical middle school building. Past that, the various buildings for vocational arts and college prep radiate out from the middle school building like branches on a tree.
Our dress code is simple. From kindergarten to 8th grade, it is a navy blue polo shirt, khaki pants, and simple shoes, and a hoodie jacket in the winter as needed. The point is not to completely eliminate distinction between students, but to forge a sense of commonality between the students. Once the transition to higher education begins, however, the dress code requirements differ depending on the path that the student will take. Vocational track students are allowed to dress more casually in durable clothing, thanks to their frequent on-the-job trainings. Students on the college prep track are required to wear button-downs, pants, and a tie, regardless of gender. The focus of discipline at Mall City Charter is based on the principle of reparative justice. Those who break something are responsible for fixing it. When one student breaks the rules, they take away from time, energy, and resources that could go towards bettering their fellow students. And so, they must replace what they have taken and fixed what they have broken. Retribution is not the point, nor is suffering. However, severe disruptions, threats, possessions of weapons or drugs, or anything else that could be a violation of local, state, or federal laws will get the cops called in.
Extracurricular activities are student-led, with the goal of encouraging students to rally around shared interests and hobbies. These are the sort of places where people can make friends for life, even if it's over something like a video games. We ask a lot of students here, and we feel like they should have a chance to be kids while they still can. Bonding with their fellow students helps keep morale up after all.
The school day begins at the same time as every other school in East Baton Rouge Parish, 8:20 a.m., and lasts until 3:30 p.m. 8:30 to noon focuses on traditional classroom activities, with English at 8:30, a math at 9:30, and a science at 10:30. Lunch and a break last from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Kindergarten through 8th grade continue traditional classroom learning until 3:30 p.m. The vocational track begins intensive training, while the college prep track begins its regime of college courses, either on the Mall City Charter campus itself or off campus at one of the Baton Rouge area's universities. The school's administration is headed by a chairperson, who is appointed and accountable to the Mall City Charter School Board. The chairperson then appoints a principal of primary instruction, who oversees kindergarten through 8th grade, a principal of vocational training, who oversees the vocational certification program, and a principal of college preparatory education, who oversees the accelerated degree program. These administrators, acting on the research performed by the school board, hires instructors from the community for 4-year contracts. Contracts may be renewed as needed. The school board takes a personal interest in the concerns of the students and teachers and parents alike, responding to their grievances and suggestions with the full weight of their direct authority. At Mall City Charter School, all parties involved in the learning process will be routinely evaluated and subjected to accountability standards. We encourage all parties to submit to formal accountability standards and also have higher standards for themselves, in which they constantly evaluate themselves personally. Accountability is the responsibility of parents, students, and teachers, as well as the school administrations. Students will be held accountable for their learning and success through a variety of formal and informal assessments. Students will also play a major role in what our accountability standards come to be. Students who do not meet accountability standards will be remediated. Teacher accountability will be judged based on student intellectual growth and achievement. Teacher accountability does have ramifications with respect to job security. Good teachers will stay until they're deemed ineffective at the end of their 4-year contract. The school's administration will evaluate and critique its methods, policies, and environment to ensure it is achieving the vision outlined in the mission statement.